Our first storyteller is Kate. Kate is a vibrant and caring person, a strong community member, a lover of live concerts and Australian musicians. She's a bit famous herself, hangs out with all the famous people, and of course her love of animals.
Hi everyone, as Jen said, my name's Kate and I'm here today to talk to you about a few experiences I've had over the last 5 or so years in regards to assistive technology, as well as my love of travel, but the obstacles involved. So about 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I got this new electric wheelchair. I was very, very excited because this chair has an elevation system as well as hazard lights, blinkers, pretty much it's a car. However, so while I was so excited, I was now able to have new experiences, such as I could put out my own washing. I could get things at Coles that were high up that normally I'd have to run around half of the store finding someone to get it down for me. I could also have an experience that I'd never had before, which was over-the-counter customer service. Normally I've got to wave my hand up like this, trying to get someone's attention. So I couldn't wipe the smile off my face. I could have photos with people and not yank their necks off, which I'm sure they were quite thrilled about as well. I could be at the eye level of so many people, which meant that I was part of so many more social experiences. I was having the time of my life. It was fantastic. About 4 months later, that smile started to fade. The elevation system on my chair became pretty shonky, and there were times where I was literally stuck up in the air with nowhere to go. Whilst at the beginning, people, including me at the beginning, thought that it was hilarious that I'd suddenly grown and couldn't shrink. It was pretty dangerous driving around like that up in the air. But also I couldn't do simple things like get into a taxi, which is my main way of getting around, as well as I also couldn't get into bed at the end of the night, although some tried to tell me that I could. This particular situation started to happen more and more over the next 12 months, and from about May last year, my chair couldn't elevate at all. I was shattered. So for the next 12 months, up until literally the week before Good Friday this year, I had many, many troubles with this chair. So as a result, I then went to the support people at the NDIS, my local area coordinators, to try and get help, because as a result of the assistive technology going downhill, it generally also incurs massive bills. Those bills are generally not in the budget that I get within my package, so I've got to ask people for help. Unfortunately for me, my local area coordinators and the NDIA, it was radio silence. There was nothing. I was lucky at the time. I worked at Blue Goose, so I was able to get help from the support coordinators there unofficially, which was fantastic. Unfortunately, those bills they took about 6 to 9 months to be assessed, which meant for the times that my chair was taken away, I was literally housebound. So I guess we've all been through the last 2 years of a pandemic, but for me, unfortunately, whilst I was in lockdown in my house, I actually was also unable to do the simple things in life, like making my own breakfast, getting dressed. I was lucky I had support workers that I could call after hours, and I was lucky that they were more than willing to pretty much drop anything and just come straight to me. but that was demoralising. I pride myself on being independent. I've lived up in Albury for 10 years on my own with my dog, and I am independent. So to lose that was really, really difficult, and it took a massive mental toll. Time and time again, when my chair was taken away, the bills, once I was waiting, whilst they were waiting to be paid, some of the wheelchair fix-it places, for want of a better phrase, they would hold on to my chair till the bill was paid. I understood it, but I had no alternative to getting around. I was literally housebound with nowhere to go. People, as I said, people would not, for me it took away my sense of independence, but it took away my legs, my way of getting around. I have a dog which I love to walk. I couldn't do that. And as I say, I couldn't even really do much around the house independently. So over the next 12, 18 months, that was pretty much my life. I'm lucky that I could also pick up the phone and just talk to people to take my mind off things. But as Jen said, I love travel. I love my Australian music. As she also said, I've seen many people. I've also over the years had family living interstate, etc., that I love to go and visit. I couldn't do that on a plane because my electric chair wasn't working, but also currently neither's my manual wheelchair. So my manual wheelchair is how I get onto a plane. But pre-COVID, when my chair was working, my manual chair was working, I used to fly all over the place. I've seen many places in Australia due to my love of travel and live music and friends and family, which has been awesome. Wonderful experiences. Through that, I've learnt the policies and procedures and the travel requirements for my manual chair. My old manual chair that I used to travel with, it used to have plastic wheel guards that used to come off quite easily. So I'd ask the ground staff to put them in my hand luggage so that they wouldn't get damaged or lost on the flight. There was a couple of times when this wasn't done. So I would either be in transit or at my destination at the other end. And I'd get to the other end and my chair was incomplete. I couldn't do anything about it. Parts were lost or they were damaged. I'm stubborn, so I was able to ask questions, get people to help me to get to where I need to be, but my chair was damaged. I needed to find places in my new destination that were able to help me while I was on holiday. And that is incredibly difficult to do because they're not readily available and they don't work after hours. They literally work 5 days a week, 9 to 5. We live this life 24/7 and it's not realistic to expect a chair to stay working 24/7 when you're using it for everything. So I guess I would implore the wheelchair mobility aid equipment places to think about, having someone on a bit more of an emergency basis so that they can come out and help us when we need it, because increasingly now, we don't like to be indoors all the time. So now we want the same opportunities, but to have that, we need extra assistance. So as I mentioned, I love to travel. The other mode of travel that I use is trains. Now, we've all used V-Line. We've all got our own experiences with V-Line. Well, this is mine. I'm unable to currently get on and off at a perfectly good train station at the moment, Albury train station. I'm told that the ramp is not accessible. So I'm told I'm always shuffled off to Wodonga station to get on and off. Whilst that's not so much of a big deal, when you're coming home from a trip from up in Queensland and you get on the nighttime train and get in at 10:30 at night to Wodonga station, and you're told a wheelchair taxi is there waiting for you, and you get there and it's not, and you're left on your own, that becomes incredibly dangerous and very, very scary. That happened to me. My phone was just about out of charge. I didn't have this chair, which has a USB to charge my phone. So I was basically stuck there until another taxi came. No one came to check on me, nothing. I just had to rely on someone turning up to help. When I'm on the train, I have had conductors move my chair while I've fallen asleep and then refuse to move it back. So I guess one of my questions is, where's the customer service? What are our rights and responsibilities? What can we ask? Because what I'm getting is mixed messages from the people where you book your tickets, right from the conductors in regional and in Melbourne. It's not good enough. It creates confusion and anxiety, and it does really dent a person's confidence when my confidence travelling has usually been sky high. So I guess what I would be hoping there would be someone employed in these particular areas that had a disability, that had that lived experience, that could show people where the shortcomings are and hopefully get things moving in the right direction. Because I've heard a saying recently, and that saying is communication creates cohesive behaviour. And I couldn't agree more, because if there was one policy, one procedure that everybody followed, that would greatly reduce anxiety and confusion for those of us that just want to live our lives like everybody else. And I think we deserve that chance. Thank you.